Okay, let's dive in. Welcome, everyone. Today we're unpacking some really interesting source material you sent over, all about farming practices.
That's right. And specifically, we're looking at this kind of paradox.
A paradox. How so?
Well, how the very methods we use to get crops growing really well, boost productivity, can actually sort of roll out the red carpet for some guests we definitely don't want.
Ah, okay. Unintended consequences. So where does the story start in the source material?
It really starts with the basics of a lot of modern farming, especially monocultures.
Right, growing just one type of crop over a big area.
Exactly. And to make that one crop absolutely thrive, the force describes how farmers, well, engineers and scientists really, create what they call a perfect environment for its growth.
A perfect environment. Okay, how do they go about doing that?
It's mainly about inputs, precision inputs, adding just the right nutrients, usually through fertilizer,
Okay.
and making sure there's consistent water, which means irrigation.
And the source mentions how sophisticated this has become.
Oh, absolutely. It talks about how engineers and crop scientists have gotten incredibly good at delivering these resources exactly where the plant needs them, when it needs them. Super efficient.
And this isn't just happening on a few farms, is it? The scale has really ramped up.
Massively. The source gives some pretty startling numbers. World fertilizer use tripled since 1969.
Tripled. Wow.
Yeah. And global irrigation capacity has almost doubled in that time, too.
Yeah.
So we're creating these, artificial, really resource-rich environments on a huge scale.
All to maximize the yield of that one chosen crop.
Precisely. And it works. For the crop, at least. The crops are, loving it. They're getting everything they need, maybe even more. Luxurious conditions, really.
Okay, but you mentioned a twist. Here's where the unwanted guests come in.
Exactly. This is the core unintended consequence the source highlights. While your main crop is living it up, you've accidentally created conditions that are unbelievably attractive to other things. Things the source calls agricultural undesirables.
Undesirables. You mean weeds, pests?
Primarily weeds in this context. And the source uses a great analogy to explain why.
Oh, yeah. What's the analogy?
It says these intensively managed fields, the ones loaded up with fertilizer and water, they effectively become luxury real estate.
Luxury real estate. For weeds. Okay, unpack that a bit.
Well, think about it like this. Compare that farm field environment to, say, the natural land right next door.
Okay, like a wild margin or uncultivated area.
Right. A natural area probably has limits, right?
Right.
Less water sometimes, fewer nutrients just lying around. It can be, tough going out there.
Sure. Resource scarcity.
But then step inside the farm field. Suddenly you've got reliable water, tons of easily accessible nutrients. It's paradise if you're a plant wanting to grow fast.
Ah, I see. So the contrast is huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source argues this huge difference makes the farm field the absolute best place to be. The prime location, the luxury real estate for anything that can grow quickly and aggressively.
Which is pretty much the definition of a weed.
That's it. They're opportunists, ready to take advantage of those ideal conditions.
So let me get this straight. The very things you do to give your crops the absolute best chance, the extra water, the fertilizer, end up making that field the most appealing spot for weeds for miles around.
That's precisely the argument.
Yeah.
You've created such a favorable environment, so much richer than anything surrounding it, that you're basically sending out an invitation.
Like a big sign saying, vacancy, all amenities included.
Pretty much, come on in, the living is easy here.
Yeah.
And the implication isn't just that some weeds show up, but that you might get a really dense invasion because the conditions are just so exceptionally good compared to everywhere else.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. The main takeaway from the source material seems to be this really powerful paradox. That the intensive methods we use in monoculture, the fertilizer, the irrigation, they work for the crop, but they also create this luxury real estate that becomes irresistible to weeds, their competitors.
Absolutely. And if you zoom out a bit, it really highlights a fundamental challenge you see in lots of highly managed systems, not just farming.
How so?
Well, whenever you optimize conditions so perfectly for one specific thing, one organism, one outcome,
right,
you often, without meaning to, create incredibly fertile ground, sometimes literally, for other things that thrive on the same optimized conditions. Opportunists. competitors.
What makes a lot of sense. It's a potent idea.
It is.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? This whole concept of accidentally building luxury real estate for unwanted guests. Maybe that's just part of the deal when you manage any system that intensively.
It could be an inherent side effect, yeah.
What does that mean for how we should approach managing these complex systems, whether it's farming or something else entirely? Definitely something to chew on.